everyone is comfortable in their chairs, on their beds, eating their favorite snacks. So I'm about to get started. This is the first time you see my face in a very long time, so hi. And yeah, if you couldn't tell from the title and from the intro, I'm just going to be talking about the fact that apparently there's no Hollywood glamour anymore. So this is based on a couple of things with that very vague summarizer that I got through. Let me just get into it. But I was scrolling one day and I came across Jennifer Aniston talking about how there are no more movie stars anymore, and she blamed social media. But as I really started thinking about it and asking a couple of friends how they thought, and they gave their opinions, I'm starting to see how maybe there could be a bit of truth to it. So based on my intro, where I had a bunch of glamorous movie stars on, yes, I'm missing so many more. Like there's Nia Long, there's Will Smith, there's Arnold Schwarzenegger, there's so many other movie stars that I could mention. I just mentioned those, sorry. But speaking of the intro, I just mentioned several examples of glamorous movie stars, and I just I want to generally give my vibe on what I believe movie stars kind of are now, because I feel like Jennifer Aniston was kind of reaching for something, but she didn't really describe it. She just sort of blamed social media. So I just sort of did a little bit of research, not that much, but a little bit. And I was like, let me really think about what seemed to make these movie stars so popular, and then maybe see if this is something that could possibly happen now. And if it isn't, then why? There's certain things that I believe, based on shallow features only, make a person a movie star based on past descriptors for movie stars are the following. The first one, I think that you need to have a duality of mid versus amazing movies. They don't all have to be great, but some of them are at least, if not amazing, they're at least timeless or at least classic. Few movie stars on my list. If you want to put in the comments what you believe their most amazing movie it is, please feel free to do so. And they also, which I'm going to explain further, should be slightly original. Like that's kind of hard because a lot of adaptations are adaptations of adaptations. So that is always hard, but I'm acknowledging that a lot of movie stars for the past weren't in huge franchises for the most part. They were a part of, maybe they were a muse from a director, or they were in the same type of genre of movies, but they were not in the same continuations of the same general gist of a movie. Next factor that I have is a little bit of drama. Seeing that there was slight drama to a lot of movie stars in the past, it's because everyone was minding everybody's business. You just pick up a newspaper or something, or log on to Google and it was there. But that's not always as prevalent anymore, or it doesn't need to be as prevalent anymore. I also think that something that's really important, and I feel like watching the Golden Globes yesterday sort of solidified the importance of this when it comes to movie stars, and it's the fact that you gotta have something appealing about you. There has to be some sort of allure when it comes to you, especially if you're living such a private life and you make it a point to not bring forth drama in your life. When you're out here in the public, there has to be something appealing about you. Your face, or the way you dress at the red carpet, your interviews show a different side of you. They show something about you, Or your award shows, what you're like when you're receiving awards, what you're like with other people around you, what kind of person are you at award shows, do you do things at award shows that makes us care about you? That is 100% more prevalent in the past. I also find that a lot of them have titles or group labels like bombshells, or they're sweethearts, or they're labeled and titled like the prettiest people or the hottest people in the world. They're on some sort of list. They're given some sort of label. So the next thing that I'm realizing is that there was some sort of trendiness to celebrities and movie stars in the past. Either they had trendy clothing all the time, they were creating trends, or they were the best at trends, or the fact that they just looked glamorous. There was a vibe of glamour. They didn't look like they were just at prom. And I just feel like that's something that's really happening a lot now, and I could elaborate on that in the future. But yeah, it's just kind of very lackluster now. Also, the fact that fan bases, they're so much more unlikable now, and it affects the way the star looks, and that's so unfortunate, but it's the truth. It's the sad truth. Also, media power, how they impact the media, but then also how rumors and narratives created about them through the media are impacting them. It's a lot. I feel like the last one that's not really spoken about a lot, but should be, is also how complimentary these movie stars are for other actors, like how close they seem, how much you are willing to see these other movie stars with that one person. It's something that seems small, but it does sort of mean something. So now I just kind of want to talk about my reasoning as to why I think we don't have this as much anymore, or if we could possibly get it back. And I'm just gonna say it now, a lot of this has to do with technology and what it's done for our lives and how we consume the media now. But I'm just going into depth more to just help you out. Now, in terms of movies not having that duality of being mid or amazing, the problem is that they're just mostly mid. And then there's the aspect that I was mentioning earlier. No one seemed to decide, hey, let me just draw the line and just stop making adaptations of stuff. Or just like most movie stars, if you want to give them that credit of movie stars, there's kind of the aspect of, but they're all in major franchises and stuff like that. Or they're all in series, or they're all in book adaptations and stuff. It's nothing original that they're a part of, and that's not necessarily to the fault of the actor that there's nothing really out there anymore, but it also does make it harder for them to stand on their own, because I just feel like when we have these actors and these movie stars sort of in these franchises, it no longer becomes about, let me go see this one person in this movie. It's let me see this franchise that conveniently that person is in. Like, I barely hear, and maybe this is just wordplay, but I barely hear people say, oh, let's go. Like, I don't hear anyone say, let me go see that Zendaya movie. It's let me go see that Marvel movie that conveniently Zendaya's in. That's not to diminish her talent. That's not to say that she can't do other things, but I'm saying that's what we have available for the most part. And I do think that she is a very good contender for a movie star that fits the qualifications of old Hollywood movie star glamour, especially in the way she dresses, in her acting, in her privacy, in her public allure. There's a lot that she does that makes her sort of fit those boxes. And again, I don't mean to diminish anyone's talent when I say certain things like that. I'm just trying to piece together what I feel other people are sort of alluding to when they acknowledge that it's not really like actors are we're going to see actors, we're going to see franchises that actors are conveniently a part of. And that, again, does not diminish any of their talent. It doesn't diminish the fact that they earn the role. It's to acknowledge where our appeal, it's to acknowledge what exactly is appealing us. And it's no longer the people, it's the concept of the film. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense. I hope it does. Next, I'm just gonna kind of say this quick, but there's not really a lot of drama to people anymore, which, let me be very, very honest, we don't need that. We don't need that currently. I feel like every single time that people have tried to have some sort of drama to them and bring something bring something like the past kind of drama that you'd see in like glamour papers and Hollywood reporters and all that stuff. I feel like every single aspect of drama, it's highly concocted. It's really obviously and really pathetically fake. Like every instance of people trying to bring drama to a situation to get us more interested in these movie stars and stuff like that, it just seems very media force-fed. It doesn't seem very genuine at all, and it just ends with most of us being tired of it and not actually being intrigued with it, which unfortunately is the reason why drama is fed to people in the first place. So I just don't think we really need drama as much anymore, but there needs to be something alluring about you. And I feel like that really comes into play with the carpet, or like red carpet or interviews or shows, but that's for the next topic. Because I think that a lot with not just drama, but people really focusing on movie stars and their sort of rise to stardom, there's no longer that much of a large scale focus on people. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that distribution of the media is so scattered now with streaming services and with different forms of consumption different forms of consumption of certain things. So no one's really on a large scale, sure you have fan bases, but that's very small scale, on a large scale really keeping up with people or able to keep up with people to really focus on their rise to stardom or to focus on any drama that they may be involved in. Now, speaking of carpets, interviews, and shows, award shows are just not interesting anymore, and movie stars are at award shows. So therein lies the issue, because I feel like that is one of the reasons why people latched on to what happened at last year's Oscars so much, because it happened with an established movie star and it was nothing like the rest of the boring award show. So if you have something that's impromptu, it's something that really shook the audience, it's something that brought drama, it's something that brought controversy, it's something that made people actually want to focus on the award show, and I guarantee a lot of people are going to want to focus on the award show this year just to see if people are going to reference last year with really crummy humor. I guarantee it's going to happen. But yeah, I feel like that's why people latched onto it so much, aside from the fact that he's a black man that did that. But I mean, they're gonna latch onto it a lot more. And there's also the fact that this affects interviews a lot. I'm gonna mention this later, but just to start it off, I'm gonna say overexposure through social media has affected the way interviews are concocted, because at some point there's just no point with certain movie stars because they're giving their whole lives away on social media, which is something we didn't have in the past. So interviews were the main method of gaining some appeal or gaining some sort of private look into celebrities' lives, you know? So in reference to carpets, I'm just gonna lead into my next factoid, and it's the fact that in terms of trends and clothing and appearances, nobody's really hitting it. Like, I may do another video on this, but no one's really gagging us anymore. in terms of fashion. Everyone's just playing it safe. There's no glamour attached to the way people look. It's fairly prom. It's just giving prom on the red carpet. And there are some fashion designers that get it right. Quinta Brunson's fashion designer gets it right. Coco Jones, her fashion designer, gets it right. Thuso Mbedu gets it right. I hope I said her name right. Like, Zendaya gets her right. Jessica Chastain gets her right. Angela Bassett gets her right. Viola Davis gets her right. They get them right. Sheryl Lee Ralph, they get her right. Not everybody like that in terms of men. There's also Andrew Garfield that gets it right a lot of the time. Tyler James Williams recently at the Golden Globes got it right. He got it right. There's so many people that don't get it right. And I think it's because fashion designers are just getting bad. They're getting bad. They're getting bad in theory. Because I think the problem is they're more into creating statements for themselves and to showcase their talent rather than to flatter the celebrities. And when these celebrities and movie stars aren't really being highlighted by their outfits and they're not being flattered very well, and they're not seeing anything original, there's no trend that they're starting, there's nothing that's worthy of appeal because they don't look great, it's a problem there. But I, again, don't really blame the actors. I blame the fashion designers that are becoming, to be very honest, very egotistical in their work. I don't know. Speaking on what I was saying with interviewers, I'm now going to move on to the aspects of media power and fan bases and what movie stars with their stuff, what they provide. Let me just start. I'm just going to say it. Managers, it just seems like nobody's managers training them anymore. There's no training for these movie stars anymore, because why do I have to hear about the fact that you don't bathe your child? That's not something we need in an interview. I'd rather you not do an interview. I'd rather you not do an interview than tell me that. But there's so much more of that. There's so much more of celebrities not keeping their mouths shut. And that's a problem, because then people don't want to pay attention to interviews, and then it loses its purpose. And then you're also not appealing anymore, because why would you say that? So managers in training, not really of good use anymore. And lastly, in reference to fan bases, social media increases parasocial behavior, which also affects the complimentary aspect for other movie stars, because when fans bring or add more competition to things, because they just naturally do, celebrities no longer have a sort of environment where they're helping each other grow as complementaries, and it's received like that, you know, because fan bases will always like their person better, and then when two people are seen together, it's no longer a thing of, oh, they're friends, it's no longer a thing of, oh, alliances. It's more of a thing of competition. There's now someone has to compare somebody to somebody else. Somebody has to compare their talent. Someone needs to compare their looks. It becomes a competitive space instead of a thing. And obviously that's not on the movie stars. It's on the fan bases. But we've now come to a point in at least current society where fan bases have power. The power seems to be more with fan bases than it is with the actual movie stars, because of how technology and consumption has now become a thing of bringing them in more. Something else that I honestly think may help, but I don't see as much anymore, and it kind of has to do with movies being mid, and then also has to do with complementaries. I don't really see a lot of directors making muses, having muses or having muse groups anymore. You know, it seems weird for me to say it like that, but I don't see it anymore. And I just feel like John Hughes was amazing at creating a space for that. And he not only created groups of people around the same age and made content with them, and it was always within the same genre, but still good and original. There's still aspects of the fact that these were actually talented actors, so that did provide more of an appeal towards them. And I wish that came out more. I wish we saw that more. My last thing, I just want to say, to clarify why I'm doing this. I'm doing this just because it seemed fun, and I was like, let me analyze what this person who's been in the industry is talking about, because obviously times have changed and I'm interested in certain traditional aspects. And I just want to say that the only way I'm meaning to describe the past and current vibes of Hollywood are essentially only from a fairly shallow lens, as the media creates, but I'm looking at it through appearances, through vibes, through work. It's fairly shallow, as Hollywood is. And there are some aspects of current Hollywood that I would argue are fairly better, and I do embrace those. However, there are certain aspects that I also can acknowledge that I prefer in the more traditional sense. I prefer the more traditional sense when movie stars knew when to open their mouths and knew when to shut up. And I don't mean knowing when to shut up when it comes to social issues. I mean knowing when to shut up about talking about their children's bathing schedules and the fact that it's only once a week. That's what I mean. But in terms of social awareness, I firmly believe that if these certain aspects of the traditional sense of Hollywood ever were to come back, if certain aspects from the past were to be adopted by people of the present, of the newer generations, I don't think that the resurgence of stardom in a more traditional sense removes the concept of morals, common decency, public awareness, or accountability. So I do think that there are certain aspects that are obviously more performative with social media now, but I also think that there's certain people that are now in the spotlight. I'm seeing a lot more with BIPOC, to be very honest. They take time out of their awards, out of their recognition to speak on certain things that I have not seen in the past, because they really haven't been given the space in the past to do that. So, in short terms, I think that there are traditional aspects of Hollywood that can come back. Again, y'all can get these movie stars some managers. Y'all can leave their lives private. Y'all can give them more of an appeal when they're in public, and please make them look good. Please flatter them. Please make them have clothes that compliment them. Get these fashion designers that are egotistical out of here. Give them some better movies, some more original movies. I don't want to see every single movie star of this day and age out here in a franchise and stuff like this. Give me more Taylor Russells. Give me more Taylor Russells. Give me more Anya Taylor-Joys. Give me more girlies like those. Give me more boys like Andrew Garfield. Give me more people like that. But then also, still, morals and common decency still can come into play for, say, award shows. I would love if award shows were more appealing and weren't as boring anymore without there having to be drama attached to it. But then again, in terms of social awareness, y'all also don't need to be applauding for people that y'all know good and well are criminals and bigots. Thank you for spending time here. Hopefully what I'm saying makes sense. Hopefully you have something to say about what I've said in the comments. I release content whenever, And I hope that this has made you think thoughts, and I hope that your day or night is amazing.
Bye.